How you doing, YouTube? This is Gunnery Sergeant 67 bringing you another YouTube video. Today's YouTube video is going to be on the 12 prepping items that can save you in a nuclear attack. All right, YouTube, let's get into it. All right, so with everything that is transpiring in the world today, specifically what's going on in Eastern Europe or Western Asia, however you want to look at it, with terrorism that's running rampant. You have regimes falling. You have a bunch of other things that has huge implications. I live here in the United States, the great free state of Florida. So there are a lot of people and a lot of organizations, a lot of countries that does not like America. For that matter, a lot of the Western countries that they don't agree with. So at any given turn, you have these terrorist organizations, these extremists, and then also you have particular countries out there that are looking to do harm to Western countries, specifically America. So with that, there is no time in history where it has been more likely that some type of nuclear exchange can potentially happen. And it doesn't need to be a full-blown nuclear exchange. It can be a strategic or tactical nuclear strike. It could be a terrorist setting off a dirty bomb. All of these things, or it could be a nuclear reactor melting down in your area. I think across the whole world, there's something like over 450 nuclear reactors throughout the world. But regardless, there are 12 specific prepping items that if you have these 12 items that you can potentially survive one of these nuclear events. Number one is going to be food, whether it be freeze-dried food, dehydrated food, MREs, or canned food. As long as that food is in your house, you should be able to survive some type of nuclear exchange, because if it's in your house, your shelter, then the chances of it being irradiated and not fit for human consumption is a lot lower. Me, I live in a block house here in Florida. It's got reinforced rebar. It's a very, very sturdy structure. It has been through hurricanes. It's been through 100+ mile per hour winds, and it has held up just fine. It is rated for hurricanes. So if there was some type of nuclear event that happened in my area, outside of a direct detonation in my area, I am probably going to hunker down in my home. Now, with that, there's certain things that you need to make sure you do. In your home, you want to go ahead and get to the centermost of your home. You want as many walls, thick structures in between you and the outside as possible. Because after a nuclear exchange or a nuclear event, there is going to be fallout or black rain, or however you want to call it. Items, material that has been radiated and a lot of times itemized, that gets sucked up into the atmosphere and then it comes down. And that irradiated material settles on your homes and things like that. So you always want to make sure that if a nuclear event happens, that you get to the centermost portion of your structure and you get as dense and as thick and as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. So food. And right after that is water, particularly bottled water. Because again, if there is a nuclear event that transpires in your area and you're not going to be able to trust the water system in your area, if it's even operating. Because also what comes along with that is a nuclear detonation. If it transpires, you're going to have some form of EMP. So a lot of the electronics that we utilize in society won't be working anymore. So water, you need to make sure that you have it. If it's indoors and it's bottled, the chances of it being irradiated are a lot slimmer. So water. Number 3, you want to make sure that you have iodine tablets. Iodine tablets, what they do is you take them and it floods your thyroid with good iodine. And it does not allow the bad iodine, the radioactive iodine, to be absorbed within your body. So that will definitely increase your chances of surviving a nuclear event in your area. Next, number 4 is a portable reverse osmosis filtration system. Now, like I said earlier, if there is a nuclear event that transpires in your area, you're not going to be able to trust the water supply in your area. And if you run out of bottled water, if you don't have bottled water, you need to be able to purify that water. And the other methods of purification and filtration of water just isn't going to be, in my opinion, good enough. You can filter the water, you can put bleach in there, all that other stuff, but it will not take out the irradiated material that will have fallen into that water. And the only way to do that, to be able to take that irradiated material out of that drinking water, is through a portable reverse osmosis filtration system. I do believe Aquapure makes it. One of the bigger YouTube channels, Alaskan Prepper, if you go over to his channel, he speaks about a specific product from either Mira, Aquapure, something like that. But it is an outstanding portable reverse osmosis filtration system, and it pulls out all of that irradiated material to where that water is safe for human consumption. Next, you're going to need a gas mask with NBC rated filters. Now, this will be good for after a specific period of time. I think the actual rule of thumb is after 72 hours, the radiation levels should be low enough for you to venture outside. Me personally, I wouldn't be doing that. I would be waiting probably more like 10 days to 14 days before I even attempt to go outside. I want those levels to be so low, and I want to ensure that there is no more fallout that's falling. And on top of that, depending on where you live, you could have fallout settling. If you live in an inner city, you can have fallout falling from the roofs of some of these taller buildings onto the street below and the structures below. So I want to make sure as much of that fallout is settled and as much radioactive radiation has dissipated as possible. And if you go outside, you want to make sure that you have a gas mask that keeps the irradiated material from you breathing it in. It keeps, if you get the full face mask, Mira has an outstanding gas mask with NBC rated filters. It keeps that irradiated material from getting in your eyes. It keeps you from breathing it in. It keeps it from getting into your nose, on your skin, all of that stuff. So having a gas mask to survive a nuclear event is critical. That's the number 5 item. Number 6 is plastic sheeting and duct tape. Now, this is really, really critical because if you are in an area that has a nuclear event, especially if there's a nuclear explosion, whether it be a nuclear exchange or if it's a dirty bomb or you have some type of nuclear reactor that melts down and explodes, and you've decided, hey, I need to hunker down, you need to take that sheeting, that plastic sheeting and that duct tape, and you need to seal up all of your windows and doors. If you have, most places have AC or heating, central heating, you want to go ahead and tape up those ducts as well. I have a fireplace. I go ahead and I would put sheeting on that fireplace. I would probably double and triple it up, and I would go ahead and tape that up with some Gorilla Tape and plastic sheeting. Everything in my house would be taped up. And then, like I said before, I would go into the centermost portion of my house at the lowest level away from the roof as much as possible. And I would also go ahead and use that plastic sheeting and that duct tape to tape up those internal doors. That way I have as much thick material in between myself and the outside that has the irradiated particles or the irradiated areas. So plastic sheeting and duct tape. 7, trash bags, bucket with gamma lids. Now the reason being for that is not only the first off is human waste. You're going to have to use the bathroom. You can use that bucket to go ahead and line it with a garbage can, and you can do your business, seal it up, and put it to the side. But addition to that is if for whatever reason, after a safe amount of time, whether it be the recommended 3 days at the minimum, or it's longer, if you have to go out and you have to survey the area, you've got to look for food, or you've got to do any of those things, signal for help, since you're trying to evacuate it, you're going to have to come back and take off all of your clothes in order to ensure that you don't have any contamination on you. And the best way to take care of that is take all of your clothes off and put them in these garbage bags. You tie them off, you put them in the buckets, and you put them aside. Preferably you put them outside. That way they don't contaminate your living space. So number 7, trash bags and buckets with gamma lids. Next, number 8 is Faraday cages and Faraday bags. Now, these are very, very important, especially in this day and age. If a nuclear event, specifically a nuclear bomb goes off or a dirty bomb, it is going to create some form of EMP wave, an electromagnetic pulse, which is going to destroy electronics in your area. If you have some type of Faraday cage or Faraday bags, like I do, I have a large Faraday bag from Mission Darkness that I keep my EcoFlow River 2 Pro in. I keep 2 foldable solar panels in there. I keep one 60 watt and I keep one 40 watt. I keep a Ryobi fan in there along with 2 rechargeable batteries. I keep the charger in there. I keep a bunch of LED small lanterns from Streamlight. I have an iPad. I keep my my NOAA radio in there. I keep my Baofeng radio in there. I have a bunch of electronics that I keep in there. In addition to that, I have a smaller Faraday Defense bag that I keep another small EcoFlow River 2 portable solar generator in there as well, along with some other electronics. But once that EMP goes off with that nuclear detonation, these Faraday bags will go ahead and save my electronics. It will allow me to get through that nuclear event a lot more comfortably because I've got these electronic assets to go ahead and do it. So a Faraday cage or some type of Faraday bag is essential in saving you through some type of nuclear event. Number 9, you want to get some type of Nomex tops, bottoms, and gloves. Now, some of these Nomex tops, bottoms, and gloves can be extremely expensive, but depending on what you're going to be doing if you go outside, and that's what these would be for, is if you have to go outside and it keeps from irradiated material getting on you, or if it gets on you and you go back into your shelter or about to go back in your shelter, you can strip down, dispose of it, and you're not contaminated. You can go to some place like Home Depot and they have Nomex tops, bottoms, and neoprene gloves. You can go ahead and get all of that stuff fairly cheap and get a couple of them. Me, I have 3 sets of all of them. One for each one of my family, and then I have a spare just in case if a nuclear event transpires. I can go after a specific amount of time, at least 72 hours. With me, again, like I said before, I'm going to wait longer, probably more like 10 to 14 days before I go out. But you wear this Nomex top, bottom, gloves along with the gas mask and the CB NBC filters, you should be fine, and you should be able to decon yourself very, very easily. So that was the number 9 prepping item. Number 10, you want to get extra large Tupperware bins. And the reason why I say this is because when you come in, and if you read any manual in regards to, especially military manual, that reads on nuclear irradiated contamination decon procedures, they will tell you that once you remove all of your clothing and you seal it up, that they will tell you the best thing to do is take a shower. Now, if a nuclear event transpires, your utilities probably aren't going to be going. So whatever water that you have stored, you can go ahead and utilize it after you've stripped completely naked, and you can step into these extra large Tupperware bins and you can wash yourself off for any type of irradiated material that probably could have gotten on you. But since you've had the gas mask with the NBC filter, and then you have the Nomex tops, bottoms, and gloves on, it should be very, very minuscule. But it doesn't take a whole lot to start getting you radiation poisoning. So extra large Tupperware bins, utilize them to decon yourself with. That's number 10. Number 11 is a Geiger counter. A Geiger counter, in my opinion, is very, very important. And this is more along the lines of, I'm checking the internal portions of my house with a Geiger counter if a nuclear event transpires, and I'm seeing if the radiation levels are getting too high to where I would have to bug out. Again, once you start absorbing a certain amount of radiation, you have to leave the area. So if the levels started getting too high, I have to start looking at bugging out. But if my radiation levels are good, then I'm going to stay in place for as long as I can until those levels come down. And also too, when you do decide to leave and relocate into a safer area, that Geiger counter can help you find out if an area is highly radioactive or if it's safe. So a Geiger counter to me is essential. The 12th and final prepping item that you can have to save you during a nuclear event is a Baofeng radio, or some type of radio that you can transmit. And Baofeng radio, specifically the BF F8HP Pro. Now this radio is an 8-watt tri-band 2-way radio. It has VHF, UHF. It is IP54 rated, so it's water resistant and dust resistant. It has 1,000 channels. It has GPS capability. It has aviation band scanner capability. It has a NOAA weather mode, and it is USB-C rechargeable for its battery. This is the equivalent of a small ham radio. Now, just be careful that with this radio, unless you become a ham certified operator, you cannot transmit. But you can listen. And with this radio, if some type of event transpires, you can utilize this radio and scan multiple channels to see if there's any type of rescue, a search and rescue going on, if there is information in regards to a safe zone you can get to. And as far as these ham radios, you can utilize them if it is a life and death emergency. And I'm pretty sure a nuclear event in your area constitutes a life and death emergency. So number 12, you want some type of Baofeng radio to listen and transmit to get you and your family to a safe space. All right, YouTube, just to go over my 12 prepping items that can save you in a nuclear war or a nuclear event is number 1, food, 2, water, 3, iodine tablets, 4, portable reverse osmosis filtration system, 5, gas masks with NBC rated filters, 6, plastic sheeting and duct tape, 7, trash bags and bucket with gamma lids, 8, Faraday cages and Faraday bags, 9, Nomex tops, bottoms, and gloves, 10, extra large Tupperware bins, 11, Geiger counters, and 12, some type of ham radio, my suggestion would be a Baofeng BF F8 HP Pro. All right, YouTube, that's it for today. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you like this content, please hit that subscribe button. In the comments below, let me know what you like, what you don't like. Is this list solid? Am I forgetting anything? Should I add something? Let me know in the comments below. All right, YouTube, this is Gunner Restarting 67. I'm out.